What's up, guys? My name is Gunnar, and we're about to head to Just Games, which is here in Rochester, New York, one of my local game stores. We're doing Game Day Kamigawa today. They're doing a big draft, and they're going to cut to a top 8, and the top 8 gets to draft double feature. I've never drafted double feature before, but I figured that I would vlog the experience because some of you still can't go to your LGSs, which sucks. And, you know, it helps keep me accountable because I get to see myself on video, do crazy stuff. So let's get started.
So here we go. I am currently starting with my first pack. Pack 1, pick 1, and a table of 9 people. Take a look through these, commons, and I am enjoying the fact and I'm seeing some really good stuff in the commons. The Modern Age being one of them. Rabbit Battery, Touch the Spirit Realm, all perfectly fine Pack 1 pick 1s, but Surge Hacker Mech really is what I want to start with because it's colorless and it does damage and it's removal. While removal isn't that great in this set, having something to be able to, come down on 4 and remove their 2 or 3 drops so that I can get through with damage is exactly where I want to be in this format considering how fast it is. So I take the Surge Hacker Mech here, and then Pack 2, this one I'm not exactly proud of. I'll be perfectly honest with y'all. I mean, Repel the Vile, Sky Swimmer Koi, Long Reach and Night, all strong cards. Born to Drive, the uncommons are kind of meh, and the rare is kind of poopy. So, I'm like, all right, cool. So what do I take here? And at that point, I Lethal Exploit I thought was actually decent. I was wrong, but that's fine. Uncharted Haven is great. Moon Puzzle, Experimental, Tamiyo's, Goshen Tile, Lost Wisdom. I see the Shrine. I like the Shrine. I don't know where I'm going. I'm feeling pretty lost. So the Shrine is what I take here. And 4 Toughness is what I believe is the strongest in the format. So, there's a lot of reasons why I took that. I see the Michiko's Reign of Truth, and I'm like, okay, cool. So maybe I can, stick my head in white because there's a lot of white stuff that I saw in the previous packs. Now, that weren't being taken. That's the most important part. So I see Tamiyo's Safekeeping, I see the Sunblade Samurai. It's got the fixing. I took the white card previous, so I'll take that. And then I'm reading When We Were Young. Holy crap! Wait until episode 2, guys, because that card comes up again. But we'll get into that at some point or another. The Terrarium, the Befriending the Moths. Now, if I were to go back to this, I would take the Terrarium here, but Befriending the Moths is what I want because, the sagas are generally powerful. I see Sunblade Samurai, and because I'm in the, I'm thinking about this, as I'm in a sagas deck, so that's traditionally green-white. So I'm like, okay, cool. I see the Geothermal Kami. I want the Geothermal Kami. That's a great card. I'll pick that up. If you've noticed and you go back, there is a red deck here that is absolutely busted that I could have drafted. However, I wanted to stay out of that. I see the Moonsnare Specialist and Suit Up. I put Moonsnare over Suit Up in that particular instance because I was, this was still very early on in my thinking. Another pick that I wish I kind of had back, I had picked the Moonfolk over the Containment Construct because I hadn't discarded anything yet or gotten into discarding things. I'll take the Fixing here. But yeah, if you notice, there's a sick red deck that I could have gotten, but another green card, another Shrine on the wheel. I look at the rest of this, and we're on pack 2. Excuse me. This is pack number 2, and I see the Sunblade Samurai, I see the Fang, I see Dakushi, I see Many Wonders, I see Roaring Earth, I see Seismic Wave, Historian's Wisdom. But then there's this Synthetic Veneration, and I'm like, that's a pretty poggers card, so I'm gonna take it. And then that brings me down the path of blue-white here, because at the end of the day, what I figured out was that this blue-white deck actually could have some legs if I picked, good blue-white cards. Containment Construct, earlier I regretted not taking it, over the other thing, but here's my chance to take it again, so I take it here. And I spend a good amount of time thinking about the other stuff that could come back. Mirror Shell Crab is definitely speaking to me in this pack as well, considering it's a blue card, considering it's very flexible. I rank Mirror Shell Crab very highly when it comes to this stuff. But in the end, I settle on the Containment Construct because it's a 2-drop. It does things that I want it to do. And we hope to see some Modern Ages come around. Skybliss Samurai, Historian's Wisdom. The foil twin shot sniper here makes me regret not going into the red deck. However, the red deck is a very specific deck. I see this colorless Imperial Oath, and I'm like, yep, slam that. Repel the Vial is what I probably should have taken out of this pack. I don't remember if I do or not. Oh, that's right, because here in this instance, I was like, hey, I'm still green-white maybe, or green, or a green-white-blue splash here. So let's see if that's actually worthwhile. But we will see if I can continue this. I'm reading the card there because I have never played that card in my life, never resolved it, never had it resolved against me. I just keep looking through and making, notes. Repel the Vial is definitely something I want out of this pack, but in the end, I settle on the Tanuki because I value the Tanuki pretty highly, especially when I'm splashing around. Another Tanuki in this pack, Follow Lord Konda's pretty good, but then I see the Touch of Spirit Realm, and I'm like, oh, okay, I will take non-conditional removal over conditional removal. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the flexibility that there is. Prodigy's Prototype is in the pack, and it gives me the cleared signal to stick into blue-white, and so I do. And then Modern Age is here with another Prodigy's Prototype. Make the disciplined decision to take the Modern Age there. Let's see here. I look at the Shrine, I think about the Shrine, I don't like cancel in this format, and I say, okay, maybe if I start to keep splashing around, but I'll take the Shrine. Another Modern Age gets passed to me, and I'm like, yes, please, take me, give me that all day. All right, and then in this pack, there's a Sunblade Samurai, and I think I take it. Yeah, I take this one. I take the Sunblade Samurai. Wait, no, I take the Fixing because I think I'm still in green. Oh no, a Spell Pierce there, a Skyblast Samurai there. Feeling bad I can't take the Walking Skyscraper. And then pack 3, I don't even look at the rest of the pack. Jin Gitaxis in foil, slamming that down. Loving life at this point. Glad I stayed in blue. I see the Repel the Vial. The Arrest as well sticks out to me, but the Covert Technician is really kind of like where I want to be because I know that card is like one of the best blue commons that I want to do. So I grabbed that, and with the amount of Modern Ages, I was like, I need some Ninjutsu stuff to be able to pick those up. In this case, I see the Doggo, I take the Doggo, I like the Doggo. Light Pause is in this, and I'm like, hey, it's a 2/2 that does 2/2 things. I haven't picked anything yet to support Light Pause. Let's see here. I see the Sphere, though, after the pick I just make, and I'm like, all right, so maybe I should just take the Sphere here. Even though the Uncharted Haven might have helped me with my mana, I think the Sphere is better. And then I kick my cards all over the place, and I get to replace them. Let's see. In this pack, like I said, there's a busted red deck somewhere in here. I'll take the Moonsnare Specialist and bump my camera. There's a busted red deck or red-black deck in here somewhere. Third Modern Age. And you have a good day today with that. Imperial Recovery Unit is definitely something that I want. And I see the Leech Gauntlet go late, and I take the Imperial Recovery Unit, and then I get past the second Prodigy's Prototype, and you know how ecstatic I am to be in blue-white right now. Awakened Amalgam is a removal spell in secret, in blue. I see the Repel the Vial come around, and I'm like, alright, fine, I'll take it. Even though I should have taken it before. The Roadside Reliquary, oh my god, I love that card. That card's great. And then here's my deck. Basically, you see that I have a bunch of 2-drops, a bunch of Modern Ages, which I went down to 2 because I didn't have enough room for everything else, because I wanted to make sure that I had some target for the ninja, essentially, because I really didn't, and I wanted more artifacts because of Jin. It's a very compact, very, disgustingly powerful deck. And we're into game 1. First game on the vlog, ladies and gentlemen. Kogazan hits me for 1 in the first turn here. In the second turn, he plays the 2/1, and I remind him that there should be a 1/1 counter on the 2/1 here. And I have mulled, I believe. No, I haven't mulled. No, this was the hand where I had a colorless land and a blue when I had a bunch of white stuff in there. So I play Modern Age, and I draw and discard, and I think about my life, and I'm at 19. I'm like, okay, cool, I can recover, I can fight a plains, this will be fine. Nothing else to worry about here. So I discard Michiko's Reign of Truth and pass the turn. The next turn here, it goes up to 3, so that is 5 damage coming at me here. Hasty, which is absolutely disgusting. He plays a 2/3 and comes in attacking, and I'm down to 14. It is Pain Town for me, especially when I have other stuff. I had nothing to do. I drew and discarded and couldn't find anything. And then here's more damage coming at my face. And I'm like, oh no, I'm getting run over. All right, so I have a creature. I have hope. All right, I have removal. I have more hope. I can do this. Oh, I let him go. And then he plays a 3-drop and comes in with the three things, and then pumps his enchantment creature with a very specific pump spell that will murder me, basically. And lo and behold, here I am on this, particular day, and I am absolutely wrecked by this deck. I go over to block. I have regrets in my life, and in the most embarrassing fashion ever, I lose this game, which is the first game of the vlog. Just getting absolutely rolled over by Boros aggro. Love to see it. All right, game 2. Let's play a dog and draw, and let's keep going, because I swear to Christ, we need to really buckle down here and actually get a win. So he plays the 2/2 DJ, which turns into a 3/2 DJ whenever he plays an artifact, which is usually 1 a turn, and that's fine. Play a land, and then I play. Oh Jesus, what do I play here? I'm terrified at this point. I play the vehicle, and I pass the turn. He plays another 3-drop. I play the containment guy. I crew the vehicle. Excuse me. And I play Michiko's Reign of Truth, which gives Doggo, a big old buff of 4/4. And I come swinging in for 8, making a pilot. Me doing math, doing pointy things, and coming in. There's my pilot token. There's the attacks. He's debating on blocking. Opponent is just ready and raring to go, and he blocks the Doggo with the DJ. DJ goes humph, or excuse me, DJ gets humphed. We're on the next turn. The player has no actions. I once again pump up the Doggo, and the pilot gets created, and I'm coming in for another 8, and it gets blocked, and I ninjutsu in the Moon Snare Specialist, so he doesn't gain any life. He'll take 2 here, but that life gain is exactly what I want to prevent. Plays his rare, and I untap, and I play a 4/4 flyer in the air with a discount. He plays a 1/3, and I don't think he has any attacks, and he doesn't have any attacks. And I'm counting everything, and so that is a huge, thick creature. At the end of this, I play the Armed Guard Familiar. I swing in for 4. And he takes the damage, and he plays the uncommon from the set. That's the Signpost, and then I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I have lethal. Smash everything. And I just, send it all in, basically. And we count it up here, and it is next to lethal damage, I believe. During the attack step here, I'll line it all up. He takes a look to see what he can do, tries to make the best blocks that he can. I'm spreading things out to let him know exactly what he can and can't do. Remember, he's taking 4 in the air and flying, so I'm laying out the blocks for him, and that's all getting through on the back there. And then there's the blocks, as you can see. And then I decided to ninjutsu in the Doggo away, and I put in the 2/2 to get in that extra point of damage, which I believe is lethal or next to lethal, because after this he seems to give up the ghost, because that's like at least 12 to 13 points of damage here. Alright, and then we move on to the next game. I keep, and my opponent mulligans, and I'd like to point this out for y'all. Watch how many times my opponents mulligan as I resolve a Modern Age. There is a very, very key lesson for you newer players. Try to find reasons not to mulligan, essentially. There's the DJ one more time. I draw and I discard another land. My opponents in this particular set of games had many mulligans because they had 2 or 3 color decks, essentially, that were very, very powerful, however, were inconsistent. Opponent gets in for 3 here, or 2, rather, because it's that. Search Hacker Mech blows that up. Gotta love Search Hacker Mech. Let opponent read Search Hacker. Pass the turn. Plays a 1/3, passes the turn. I play my Michiko's Reign of Truth, give my flyer, huge, +3/+3, come in for 5 in the air, take his opponent's life total down. Basically, there is a very big lesson that people should take away from all of these, which is getting in for 2 there, or getting in for 5 there, 5 more there. Which is, and then I ninjutsu it out and bounces 1/3 back to his hand. He's giving me 1 point of damage. I play my second Modern Age. The lesson that y'all should learn is that you should find reasons to keep a hand rather than find reasons to mulligan a hand, especially when you're playing limited. Your percentages go down so far that the games just become completely unfair. He resolves his rare, and I'm feeling kind of troubled. I take a point of damage. Go to my turn. I exile his rare. Get in for 2. Flipped. There's a boot suit and excuse me, a flying suit of some sort, not an actual creature. My two creatures get in. My 2 creatures crew the mech, and I get in with the flyer and the mech, and then he realizes that he can't block the mech because the mech has menace. So he blocks the flyer. They trade. He repels the vial something, and I point out to him that the 2/4 might be the better option here. So I exile. He said the opponent said he started playing 3 months ago, and I was very proud of him. I play my own repel the vial here and get rid of his enchantment to get back my flyer and blocker. And he did a very good job. Resolve the Oath. Here comes the 3 friends. Swing it. And that's it for game 1. GG's, my friend. Thank you very much for the games. And, y'all should do yourselves a favor and make sure that you thank your opponents for the games, because it's an honor and a privilege for you to play against them.
All right, we're outside. That first round was kind of rough. Him curving out like that and me not finding my blue source was terrible, but we got there at the end, so we'll try round 2.
Opponent mulligans to start off the second round here. We go into the second turn, and the Modern Age hits the battlefield, and I, of course, respond in kind with a Modern Age of my own. Satoru Umezawa from the opponent, and I will place down my 0/4 flyer. That is a shrine, and I will make my opponent mill 1, which is such a satisfying experience in limited. Twisted Embrace my shrine. Rest in pieces. Get hit for 3. This opponent was very much a person who was very experienced with Magic, and I very much enjoyed that. Bounce my opponent Satoru Umezawa to his hand, and then pass the turn. Let the opponent read the card. Replay the Satoru. Time walked him. Gotta love it. Play a discounted flying 4/4. He kills the flying 4/4, and I'm like, oh no, where did all my creatures go? And then the opponent gets in with the 3/4 flyer, and I can't block, and I take another 3. My 3/3 comes up. I repel the vial, the 3/4 flyer, get in for 2 with my 3/3. And remember, the other side of that particular spell is that any CMC that I cast on my turn, they can't cast until my turn. They play a Puzzle Knot, I play a Discardy Boy, I play a Vehicle, and then I pass the turn. The Death Touching Shrine is there, and all of my 1/1s are about to die, including the Discardy Boy. I pay for 3, and I play a ninja without playing its ninjutsu cost. Opponent gets in for 2, and I block because I would like to make pilots. That would be a smart thing for me to do. So that happens. And then my opponent plays a ninjutsu lifelinker. I play the samurai boys. Here comes Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. And then I cast a Michiko's Reign of Truth, and I get in for a whole bunch. Opponent reconfigures onto the lifelinking ninja, and then gets in for some damage. I take my samurais, I crew my vehicle, and I block. They trade. Opponent goes up 5 life. I cast another. I cast the another white saga, and that one's Michiko's Reign of Truth. The other one was of the moths, and I flunge because I have a stupid amount of damage to get in. Opponent is looking pretty rough. Opponent blocks and ends up blocking the 3/3 flyer with the 1/4, and takes a whole bunch of damage in this first game here. Go to my next turn. Go to second main. Cast the other vehicle. Looking pretty with my 3 vigilant samurai boys, and opponent it reconfigures onto the puzzle knot person, much to their dismay, and they come in to scry, which is 3 damage, I believe. They scry it to the bottom. I'm not looking too hot here, but the crackback is looking really disgusting. That is until my opponent resolves a 3/2 lifelinker, which is not the... or ninjutsu's in a 3/2 lifelinker, which is where the opponent wants to be, essentially, to gain that 3 life, to try in desperation not to die from the giant flunge that I'm about to participate in here, because I Moonsnare Specialist the Saturo, I jam in, and we go to the next game. Now, in the other game, you didn't see me sideboard as much, but in this particular deck and in this particular matchup, I didn't feel like I need to sideboard much. I did sideboard one thing. No, I didn't sideboard anything in this particular match. So, we'll move on to game number 2, where opponent mulligans again. Now, like I said earlier, mulliganing is definitely reduces your win percentage by a whole bunch. There's an artifact. There's a Discardy Boy. There's a Modern Age on the opponent's side. I get in for 2. And then I pay 2 mana for the 2/1 reconfigure person. Moonsnare Specialist, bounce back Discardy Boy, play Discardy Boy again. The opponent plays 2 of those 2/1 reconfigures, which is just gross. I play a Modern Age of myself, draw this card, hit my camera every single time, pay 2 for Michiko's Reign of Truth, give it to the Wardy Boy, and go in swinging with a 6/5, which is absolutely disgusting. Opponent decides if he's going to block or not, and he doesn't. Reconfigures onto the flying Modern Age creature, gets in for damage. I play Surge Hacker Mech, I shoot the Moonsnare Specialist, and I come in with another large... I'm trying to remember the name of that card, but, you know, sometimes you just don't. It's the Reconfigure Boy. Damage comes in, and then he ninjutsu's in the ninja, plays the Modern Age again, exile, and pay for ward for the familiar, and then flunge after crewing my mech for a whole bunch. Now the crackback is going to be 5, and I have the Michiko's Reign of Truth flipped, so the Michiko's Reign of Truth is very thick, and I'm expecting some sort of crackback here because I'm at low life. Here's the kill spell, kills the big thing, and I won that game. We defeat our opponent, and we move to match number 3, starting off with a Modern Age from our opponent, and a ninja from mine, which gets immediately crabbed. I was very crappy about this one. A trash bot and go. Bounce the trash bot, get in for 2, and then they play play a 3/4, which it sacrifices artifacts, and I don't know how to deal with something bigger than that, so I exile it. Spending a whole bunch of time here just trying to manage the board and playing a bobble, letting my opponent go. Opponent plays the trash bot again. I bounce the trash bot again. Think about getting in, but wait a minute, that has summoning sickness. Opponent gets in for 2. I think about life. I think about the kind of tricks they would have, and I decide not to block. Opponent gets in the trash bot a 3rd time, and I make my ninja fly and fly over top of the currently 2/4 trash bot. Opponent takes 6. I pass the turn. Opponent gets in for 2 more. And I get in for 6 more. This particular match was a good matchup for me, relatively speaking. I ninjutsu in a ninja here so that I can bounce another thing back to their hand, because apparently all I like doing is making that trash bot go back and forth, basically, and clean up after itself. My thing has been completed. I'm like, oh no. I sacrifice the Sanctuary, draw 2 cards because my deck has an enchantment and an artifact on the battlefield at the moment. Play another Modern Age, get in for, or crew the vehicle and get in for 5. Opponent blocks, and I ninjutsu in to bounce the trash bot back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Opponent lets me go. And then I repel the Vial, the Tamios Completion, which gets exiled, and I am back online with stopping my opponent from doing things. Here we go, big old flunge from me. Opponent thinks about where to block, eventually settles on some other shenanigans after I make my pilot. Blocks there. Goodbye, Bouncy Ninja. And then I resolve a Phyrexian, which is, in response, they decide to try to shoot one of my creatures, and all of my pilots will die here, because it's also a wrath for non-artifact creatures, which is very sad. But Jin Gitaxias will end up getting the job done here in this particular game. Game number 2, Doggo start off for us. And the trash bot comes down. I play a vehicle, which I can't crew yet, which I'm very sad about, and then the rabbit comes onto the battlefield. Rabbit gets in for 1. I decide not to block, and I play a Modern Age to try to dig through my deck more. I'm able to play an 0/4 blocker this time, and was very happy with that. And then I realized that I have a discount on a 4/4 flyer, which is great for casting it for 4 mana, but oh no, I get crabbed again. See why I like the crab in the draft, guys? Oh, man. So, opponent here plays another trash bot, and I'm like, wait a minute. There's so many trash bots on this battlefield. This is ridiculous. Reconfigures the rabbit onto the trash bot and gets in. And I am making a decision here as to where exactly I block, and I will block the thicker trash bot, if you would. I crew, I get in for 4, I make a pilot, I pay 2, and I pay 3, and I play a Moon Snare 1/4, I play my bauble, and pass the turn, mill them for 1, because, it's very satisfying to mill an opponent. In Limited, I am that kind of monster, don't worry. You'll come to know that very soon. My vehicle gets completed, and I rue the day. Opponent gets in. Block with the 0/4 on the 1/4. Be very happy that I have the 4 toughness. Resolve Jin Gitaxias on time. And that will probably wrap this one up. Now, I need y'all to remember that the couple takeaways that you should have from this particular set of games is that you should always look for a reason to keep a hand in Limited, essentially. So if there's 1 or 2 things that you need to happen to go right, find a way through the logic to be able to figure out if you need to do this. They cast a kunai here, it gets countered by Jin Gitaxias' ability. I draw 2 cards, and this is it for the opponent. I cast a Surge Hacker Mech and I get to copy it. That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So I'll get in for a whole bunch of damage after killing one of their mech. And, you know, I will make 2 discardy boys, essentially, and the opponent scoops it up here. And we end up 3-0 with a #1 ranking in everything after a giant flunge here. Remember, folks, thank your opponents and be nice to everybody, especially in victory. Happier than me in this particular moment right now. I am doing way better than I ever thought I would.
What's up, guys? Okay, so, oh my god, we're on lunch. We had a 3-0, which is great because our deck was real good. Gentastasis was real good. Those sagas, dude, those sagas saved my ass so many times. Was worried that, like, I was worried in the first game, essentially in the first match, because like the deck just didn't perform and I didn't draw any lands, and you're supposed to expect that sort of thing. But then rallying off 6 wins in a row after that point, you know, to get the 3 match wins is pretty awesome. We're set at seat 7 on the table. 2 of my friends made it, which is pretty cool. A couple of them didn't, though. And I was like, and they had bad days and bad cuts and bad feels. So, hopefully we can do something with this set, and we can move on. I'm gonna have some lunch, and hopefully we can do something, you know, with this draft, because I've only done like a little bit of draft sim for double feature. And I've played both sets, and I know both sets back and forth. So hopefully the strategy of drafting the Crimson Vow rares and drafting the Midnight Hunt commons will get me there. So we'll see.
So here's the deck that I drafted, but I wanted to point out one particular moment in the draft where I had a very big decision to make. And I'll leave the audio in on this one.
Though.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh god.
Wow, I'm gonna take this card. Uh-oh.
Weird.
Are we dropping?
No, we're not dropping.
Are we dropping?
No, we're not dropping. No, we're gonna wish we dropped, though. Holy
So good. I have to take bananas. Yeah.
I don't want to face off against that card specifically. Here, take that away from me.
Alright, so here's the first game of our top 8. We're feeling real good. We get in for 1. Our opponent plays a 1-2 trainee, and this is when I begin to realize that I'm having problems, because I resolve a stinger, I sacrifice the 1-1 that I played, I lose 2 life, I draw 2 cards, thinking that in the blind that I am okay. Opponent gets more things onto the battlefield here, and I do not, and gets in trainee trigger. I am getting overrun here by this particular deck. What I didn't take into account here, and that was a very quick scoop to game 2, by the way, there was no chance for me whatsoever in this particular matchup. After getting candle trapped not once but twice, they had the green-white uncommon from one of the 2 sets, which gave trample to stuff when it was a +1/+1 counter put onto it, and they built their entire deck around it, and they did a very, very good job of building that, and I was very impressed to see that, to say the least. Here I am trying to miraculously live through 5, and we just, we don't do well here. And that was our top 8, and I am done. Let's go pick up our prizes.
All right, fam. That's a 1 and done in the top 8, but I got my prizes, and I did pretty well today. Basically, that first game there, where I didn't draw any blue sources when I had 5 blue spells in hand, wasn't the best. We are done with our Saturday, and we're going to head over to our buddy's house, and we're probably going to play some Commandeer. Other than that, I hope you all had a fun time watching that. Wasn't that pack insane? Like, what was I doing? Like, oh, jeez. All right. Hopefully tomorrow. Better luck. Remember, like and subscribe. See you soon.